Welcome back to the Zodiac hierarchy. This is World War Zero, Season 2, and I am your host, the Peace Dealer. We are going to continue along this concept as we discuss the next tier on the hierarchy, of course, being the socials, aka the supers. If you remember, during episode 1, or rather 2, we introduced each of the tiers, and with episode 2 we looked into the individuals. Well, after the first 4 signs, we have the next 4 signs, which are, of course, the socials, representing the social perspective, whereas the first 4 signs are individuals, which could be seen as the original building blocks. The next 4 seek to integrate said individuality through social spaces and social interactions with others, which, of course, as I will present, take on more of a super quality, which we can akin to, of course, superpowers. As such, the socials consist of Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. What we will see is that these 2 fixed signs of Leo and Scorpio, while also similar to Taurus, representing royalty, will be aspects of super strength. So Taurus, of course, being a natural physiological strength, is now, of course, upgraded through Leo and Scorpio as both a passionate super strength and a psychological super strength. All right. Both aspects of strength that, relative to the differing elements, will really speak towards not only how strength is ascertained and measured, but how both of these are expressed in social spaces. Leo being the entertainer on stage, Scorpio representing the nightlife, which you could look at Leo and Scorpio as different aspects of going out, which we will speak on. Virgo is going to be a super analysis, I dare even say enhanced synesthesia, being able to merge different senses together. And of course we have Libra, which is going to represent superpower. All right. Hence, we put the socials on a higher level than just the individual tier, as given that individuals specialize with working one-on-one with others, socials now open up, or rather the social perspective opens up an opportunity and capability in order for said beings to connect with more than just one-on-one with individuals, similar to somebody on stage who is performing to an audience. What you will see, unlike the individuals, is that their sense of self and even self-esteem is heavily influenced by the society they're around, unlike individuals who are going to maintain said originality no matter who is around, as they are their own person. Socials, in gaining, of course, more reach, may now, as a result, depend on these social spaces and circles in order to maintain their own influence and, of course, potency. So as we can see, we do have some keywords and guide words relative to the sun, moon, and AC through these signs, just like we did the individual. The sun will, of course, correlate to one's spirit, with the moon correlating to one's soul, and the AC, of course, their embodiment. Oh, I hope you guys are excited for this episode, albeit brief as it may be. This is going to be really cool for those of you who actually have placements in these 4 signs. And even though you're just seeing the sun, moon, and AC there, any planets you have here as well, or any points you have in these signs as well, you can treat them as social/super placements that, of course, will play out similarly relative to what planet or point you have. Last but not least, or rather with that being said, we have Leo. So the first entrance into the supers is, of course, similar to Aries, the fire release with Leo. Okay, which is an aspect of super strength. We see strength here correlated with the fixed nature of a sign, as cardinal will be power, fixed will be strength, and mutable is magic. So given that Leo is the fixed fire sign following the raw original potency of the cardinal fire of Aries, we now strengthen this courageously. And for those of you with Leo placements, this is a super strength. In fact, this alone is what makes you the main character. Even if you have other planets here, like if you have a Mercury in Leo, if you have the Venus in Leo, you have the heart of the main character, or I like to say the lead role, because you have many different main characters. Libra is a supporting role character, which can also be seen as a main character. And you have the villain, which can also be seen as a main character. So Leo is the lead role. All right. Just like the other planets ruled by their signs revolve around the sun, which takes the lead in this solar system. Whether you believe in geocentrism or heliocentrism, I mean, especially if you're Helio, cool. This is not only lead role energy, once again, because this is energy where the power of the cardinal generates into fixed quality of energy. That energy now produces a mutable effect. Well, Leo is going to represent the passion that strengthens one's expression of their talent and courage. Having the courage to do something while, of course, still feeling the fear, but doing it anyway. You either got this or you don't. Albeit everybody has Leo in their chart. You, with having placements progress or natal through here, will represent where and how you express this strength. Okay. Now, this, given its passionate nature, is going to be experienced through this sense, of course, of having not just the passion, but revving and roaring yourself up, and also as an entertainer, other people, right? Inspiring other people to carry this energy is what enables this to display and demonstrate pretty awesome leadership through those who actually make use of this energy. All right. Given that this is characterized as the lion, the king / queen of the jungle, right? This is, of course, the beginning of not only this hierarchy and tier, but very interesting to see how we immediately now kick things up a notch. And as such, could also be similar to Taurus, somewhat stubborn, like most fixed signs will be. But given its fire release nature, this definitely expresses heat, whether in the form of drama or just, bona fide inspiration. And that is, of course, where we will also now see this expressed through the sun, moon, and rising. For those of you with Leo suns, you have a golden spirit. Like I was going to say before, if you have your Venus in Leo, you have the heart of the lead role. If you have the Mercury in Leo, you think and process like a lead role character. Well, if you have your spirit here, you were born with a golden spirit, a lion spirit. Your conscious awareness expresses said courage. I mean, automatically having this doesn't necessarily make you courageous, versus, of course, creates the function and opens the space for you to express it. Obviously, there are many people who we may know with these placements who don't necessarily live up to the potential of it, but it doesn't necessarily change the fact that those of you with these placements have active participation towards demonstrating and expressing this, as we will see with Leo and the sun at will, which is also really beautiful because Leo is the strength of will. It is the I will, as opposite to Aquarius's I know. Okay. And namely the strength that comes with, empowering this will through the courage and passion that gets you and others excited. This is going to also be now demonstrated through the golden soul with the Leo moon. The Leo moon, unlike the sun that's going to express this passion, carries as a vessel this passion within their soul. And similar to the Leo sun and rising, carry a lot of energy within their vessel, thus once again being a golden soul. And relative to the sun sign they have accompanying with this Leo moon soul, really lets one know where all this passionate energy that could be restless in some cases expresses itself through. All right, so as an aspect of super strength, those with the Leo sun really do express this spiritually, consciously. I like this dynamic even in people who don't look strong, right? I've actually experienced certain Leo suns and moons who may look frail, who may seem skinny, who until they activate that Leo and they're strong. Okay, it's an actual passion that could really, betray what you may initially think they look like, versus those who have this placement who also look strong because they use that energy to build their physique. That being said, it's important to understand, unlike Taurus, that's going to be more physiological, this is a passionate super strength. And through the suns and the moons, the receptivity or the expression, there is a lot of energy. You'll know because they'll be dancing a lot as well, that these people, especially the moons, keep within them. And of course, the Leo rising is the principal embodiment of this solar royalty. We call them, of course, the solar king, solar queen, depending on, of course, who has this. But in embodying this courage, it enables them, of course, to interface as a social personality with others, and while also identifying as the lead role. Next, of course, we have Virgo, which is going to represent at a very grounded, mastered level, the earth release. This is where we will now take the individual ideas and thoughts of Gemini and now apply a critique that is socially influenced. Hence why a lot of people, don't operate just off of just one idea that comes from somebody. These ideas are forged through, of course, a lot of doubt, a lot of criticism to flesh out what is real about the more intellectual air nature of an idea that is now grounded through facts. All right. As far as Virgo, as, by the way, the only social mutable sign. So unlike the individuals that have two cardinals, Aries and Cancer, the socials have two fixed, Leo and Scorpio, and then the universals have two mutables, Sagittarius and Pisces. So the only mutable sign in the supers or the socials is going to be represented by Virgo. Now, whereas Leo is the entertainer and the performer, and as we will speak on, Libra is like the activist, Virgo is in between that handles the real social dynamics. Virgo is, of course, going to be somewhat influential relative to how things really are sorted together, for better or worse, in, once again, social spaces. Remember, these four signs pretty much build their whole identity off of being outside. Like, they can't go a week without bragging about how they've been outside and how they do stuff outside, because that's their identity. But that being said, with a sign like Virgo, this now expresses itself through enhanced analysis, being able to, with this mutable earth, really analyze critically deets, as we like to say, details, noticing a very, critical element, how things play out, how things have to play out, how things work. Anytime you've ever seen a how-to video that is quintessentially Virgo relative to its process and its consistency through reliability, marked by the Knight of Pentacles in the tarot. All right. Virgo being mutable, unlike the fixed Taurus and the cardinal Capricorn, could be seen as the market where you buy and sell. That's the mutable nature of it. Buying, selling, buying. And dealing with all the real crap that has to be dealt with out in social settings. Hence where Virgo and Scorpio will kind of have a correlation with cleanliness, cleaning, having to go out to the dirt and be the one that actually fixes it. But hey, y'all are outside. Now, here what we see with the sun, moon, and rising are the master soul, master spirit, master embodiment. As now, by the time we get to Virgo being that sixth zodiac sign, out of 12, where the other 6 are really just, fulfillment of the first 6. This is where we reach mastery. Virgo, of course, aligning with the 6th house, is going to bring mastery through repetition, through practice, which makes perfect. Hence, I will say Virgo risings are embodiments of perfection, embodiments of mastery, albeit our use of perfection here does not always have to really entail flawlessness versus completion and equity. But I mean, I like to see Virgo, in a sense, the idealized version of Virgo, as flawless, or seeking and striving towards flawlessness, or at least improvement, right? The Virgo will tell you, oh, we're improving, because they never want to admit they're perfect or whatnot, or flawless. But that's actually what the magic of Virgo is. It is striving towards perfection. The Virgo sun is going to be the master of consciousness, the spirit master, the critical spirit. This, of course, is through the magic of analysis, borrowing from Leo's strength of will, that produces the effect to mount to this real change. So the Virgo sun will use their conscious awareness as an environmental magical function in order to, of course, integrate and align how all of these individual parts can get ready to be brought together and whole. Even though Virgo does break everything into its individual counterpart. The Virgo moon is going to be the master soul, very critically receptive to details most others may miss. Whereas we just once again spoke of the Virgo rising embodying this critical perspective. So regardless of what planets you have, sun, moon, and rising, it really is going to go a long way to really show not only the next level quality of perspective you're able to express, but now being a step up of Gemini, this is not just limited to one's individual thoughts, which could be open to a lot of scrutiny because there's a bit more freedom that will come with just thinking what you want to think versus now analyzing how it is. It's, real versus just imagined, which is going to require much more groundedness, maybe less freedom to operate with, but of course, more realness. So yes, I want to be very clear. This is a super level of magic. This is like an enhanced version of magic that is going to take around your environment relative to Gemini's thoughts. People who have Virgo placements are very good at taking advantage of their environment, immediate and social environment, in order to make it work for them, in order for them to analyze what it is their environment shows them. Do not sleep on these people because magic like Virgo will know a lot more than they will really let on. Gemini plays dumb. Pisces plays dumb. Actually, Pisces plays delusional. Virgo doesn't really play dumb. They just won't let you know that they know a lot more and they have a lot more details than they would rather play their hand with. So just be careful about that, as this now leads us once again into now the superpower of the Zodiac, Libra. By the time we get to Libra, we are, of course, expressing our individuality through Aries of the identity, bridged with agreements relative to, well, who are we partnering our identity with? And we are integrating, of course, this understanding of where we feel we come from and who we feel we are. Thus, of course, integrating the second individual, Cancer. Of course, now Libra is going to represent the most powerful zodiac sign if we're not talking about Capricorn. Then we have Libra. And as a social superpower, this is the power of, and I'm not joking, jumping. If we're going to actually simplify this, jumping is a superpower. Now, if you don't know what jumping is when you get a bunch of different people and with the power of friendship, you join together and you beat the crap out of one other person. It's like if a very powerful Aries is throwing their hands at you because they're really good at one-on-one combat, Libra solved this by getting 5 to 10 other people and beating on that one person. This is the power of jumping. We see this when countries impose sanctions on other countries. This is just a diplomatic way of jumping another nation. We see this even amongst groups themselves. It cannot be actually understated how powerful the power of jumping is. And I wanted to really kind of sugarcoat and give this more of a polished lens, as Libra is polished. The superpower of Libra is actually going to be social acuity. So the ability to walk into a social space and to actually know who's who, given that Libra, the power of Libra is actually intelligence, intellect, unlike the magic of Gemini, which is going to be having smarts, being smart. Libra and people with Libra placements know how to apply these smarts. They can apply their intellect, hence the cardinal nature of air, the power of the mind. So bridging connections with others, hence why Libra is the activist, right? The power of balance here. We're going to bridge multiple different interests so that we can give a voice to the voiceless. Hence Leo is Libra's best friend, the entertainer and performer that adds more inspiration towards this forward moving direction. Talib Kweli, who was born Libra season, said justice is what love looks like in public. Hence, this is a public social sign. It is, especially if you look at love as Leo, this demonstrable kindness through Virgo, Libra really balances this. Now, if you notice, all of these traits of Libra that I mentioned, bridging with others, applying intellect in social spaces to determine who's the important people to talk to, how am I able to deduce someone's character based on their fashion and the way that they're taking action towards other people. All of these facets of Libra really require the ability to connect with other people. Why? So that you can jump somebody else. That's it. I'm going to simplify. Like, this is the power of jumping. All right. Yeah, there's all this diplomacy and there's all this, but it's really just meant on how well you can use that to get as much people as you can to jump other people. Like, think about what activism really is. You're getting a lot of people to demonstrate and protest against an organization, a corporation, a person that's basically jumping. If you've ever seen a protest, it's a bunch of people jumping an ideology. Okay, and this is how powerful jumping is, and I don't think we should underestimate it. The power of jumping can take over the whole world, and Libra, really brought it into form. Now, we're going to talk about Aquarius, which now takes jumping to a godlike level, but we just wanted to express the social potency of this here. And as we can see, the power of balance, aka jumping, with Libra, we do have the Libra sons who really can express their own conscious awareness in order to not only apply said intellect, but to be very aware of how to jump other people and who to get to jump said person. Then we have the Libra moon, who can feel in their soul when it is right to jump somebody and feel if they have the right amount of people around them to jump somebody else. Now, we will see with the Libra sun, said classic, polished, balanced awareness in not only bridging the right people, and with the Libra moon feeling that social contextual balance, which I can't emphasize alone is very important. Libra moons are very dangerously intelligent, especially because you won't know when they feel like jumping you. You think it's all sweet. Boom, they pop up with 10 people, you getting jumped. Now, of course, Libra represents justice. They're not going to jump you for no reason. But that being said, we do have the Libra risings. And I will say, you know what I'm saying? Certain artists had a Libra rising who was accused of 20v1 another artist. I don't think he did. We saw him do it one-on-one, but as you can see, the association with Libra and jumping spans throughout many different industries and fields, and it's because they represent justice. All right, they're going to have the people behind them, right? They can show up with 100 people at will. That's dangerous, by the way. But that being said, the Libra rising embodies justice. We call them the artists. They can also be the activists. Some will even say the love goddess, because now Venus rules their chart, although I'm a Taurus rising, so I have a different Venusian rulership. Any planets you have here in Libra will also really speak towards the potency with which you can not only bridge very important themes with your society around you, but you guessed it, jump other people at will. Okay, and last but not least, we have Scorpio, which is the water release, representing pure wisdom. Unlike Virgo, which is the magic of analysis, okay, Scorpio deepens based on this physiological experiential wisdom. Now, psychoanalysis. Virgo is literally a physically based analysis. Scorpio is an intangible psychoanalysis based on the psyche. You cannot touch the psyche, but you can touch my body. And then, all right, I had to. I'm sorry. But like, as you can see, it's important to see why Scorpio extends from Virgo. The analysis becomes psychoanalysis after the character profile of Libra. All right. What's also deeper here, given its water release and fixed quality, is that said psychoanalysis peers one very deeply through one's unconscious, hence its rulership with Pluto, and reveals a lot more deep-seated process within one, especially tied to Virgo's analysis, what makes one tick, amongst other things. But what we will see here, like we mentioned, Leo is a passionate super strength. Scorpio is going to be a psychological super strength. And it's important to make the distinctions. A Leo super strength is going to really have the courage and passion to run into a burning building in order to save their family. They feel the fear, they feel the heat, but it does take a courage to run in there and eventually save them. Scorpio is a psychological super strength, like being waterboarded for 2 hours and not snitching, or being interrogated. And, someone with intense Scorpio will not only have, or great Scorpio placements will not only have a high pain threshold that they can tolerate, but they might see that as a piece of cake. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't feel pain. Actually, you can argue they feel pain more than anyone. So this isn't necessarily a pain buff. It's just their capacity and tolerance in order to feel pain is goddamn near supernatural. Now, it's very fun to see hypochondriacs with Scorpio placements, because the opposite is true. These people could really go off the deep end if they feel just the slightest of pain. But make no mistake, this is psychological super strength. And the Scorpio who is claiming their strength is able to withstand some of the most torturous, deep psychological pain and pretty much just treat it like it's another day. Is that going to apply to everyone with this placement? Yes, actually, don't let them fool you. No, but just keep in mind that's just the potential of this. All right. And as we will see, the Scorpio sun is going to be the pure spirit who is able to, like X-ray vision, psychoanalyze the psyches and psychological nature and state of others just with their own awareness at will, right? Bring a greater awakening to what's hidden to these beings with their own spirits. I mean, just being within their auric field, you'll start to see this. The Scorpio moons, which are for some reason all sexy. All right. Scorpio is sexiness. So I'm not just going to say something, but damn, Scorpio. I don't think I've seen a single Scorpio moon woman who is not sexy like that. This is even immature to just say here, but I just had to say it. The pure soul, of course, holds that depth of purity, which now enables them to feel very deeply the psychological states of others and hold that sexiness. You know what I'm saying? All right, my bad. But the Scorpio rising is the pure royal, and y'all can get it too. All right, my bad. I'm having too much fun. The Scorpio rising embodies this pure royalty. Y'all really can get it too, though. I wasn't joking. Scorpio's on YouTube. But that being said, this definitely embodies this sense of wisdom and psychological prowess. Now, this is also a transformative energy. So regardless of what placements outside the sun, moon, and rising, still very, very, very prominent, still very, very strong, still very, very, very intense. Okay. And you can feel said intensity, especially with the risings and the moons. The Scorpio moons and risings have this look of their eye. They can death stare you. That is one of their supernatural abilities. They can stare you and you die. I mean, yeah, you die, but at least you'll feel like it. Even the suns. Okay. But they have this thing with their eye, deep penetrating eyes that reveal the wisdom and possible darkness. That will definitely darkness, but hopefully not evil darkness, hopefully not pure evil. We like to, I'm going to make a video around Scorpio theory that I think might be my most harebrained theory yet, but it's going to resonate with some of you. That being said, this is the strength of wisdom. The ice, if you think water, fixed water is ice, which is very interesting that Scorpio gets called the fire of the water signs, even though it is pretty much the coldest zodiac sign of all time. But who's to say it can't also have heat as well as chilled ice? That being said, in conclusion, we see that the socials are super elementals. They integrate individuality. By the time we get into, of course, Libra and Scorpio now, which seeks to break through and harvest said individuality through these social spaces. Leo is the I will, a fire release. Virgo is the I analyze, of the earth release. Libra is I balance. Scorpio is I trust. I hesitated on using I as a indicator since these are socials, but I don't care. Anyway, you guys stay blessed as always. Next episode, we are going to get to the universals, baby. Okay. If you have placements in the last 4 zodiac signs, you're messing with the gods. Okay. Oh my God. And yeah, this went out a little bit longer than I expected. So I'll probably record that next episode later instead of today, but you guys stay blessed as always. I'm going to upload this like ASAP. Comment down below what social placements you have for my supers, for my socials. Represent what kind of super are you? What kind of social are you? Let us know. You feel me? Be willing to really express all that. And I will see you guys, in then the next episode. By the way, like if you have social individual placements, comment that down below. Like, for those of you with social sun signs, as we will speak on the conclusion, which is actually going to be a long conclusion. So I don't know why I called it that, but like, as we're going to speak on in the conclusion, yeah. What type of social are you? Right? Do you have a social sun? Do you have a social moon? Do you have a social rising? Do you have a social Venus? Do you have a social Mercury? Let us know. Don't hide. And, until the next episode, peace.